Salamat, thank you, and welcome to Juneau Afternoon. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Conversations for today, July 16th, 2026. The Southeast Alaska Conservation Council and the Southeast Alaska Land Trust are hosting the Herbert River Rollick this Saturday, July 18th, a planned day of intentional recreating and engagement with the wildlands. Also this Saturday, it's the Southeast Alaska Master Gardener's Garden Tour. We talk with Ed Byarski about what's in store. And Sea Alaska Heritage Institute sponsored a KTOO News Intern this summer. We meet and chat with Elan Chappell and learn what he's been up to here at KTOO. Those conversations are coming up this hour from Juneau Afternoon. From your community-supported public media station, KTOO, you can also catch us on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages.
You're listening to KTOO's Tlingit Word of the Week. This week's word comes from Keishi Bessie Cooley. The word this week is t'ah. That means king salmon. And here's a sentence.
They slinged ukocht August yakuna eni.
The king salmon swim to Teslin when August is first arriving. Let's hear it again. King salmon. Gunashjish to Juneau Lance Twitchell, Goldbelt Heritage Foundation, and the University of Alaska Southeast for this audio.
Keishi Bessie Cooley is Coqueton and a child of a Yenyedi man. She is from Dayslin, Teslin, and grew up spending time in Teslin and around Teslin Lake. She earned a master's degree in Indigenous Languages and Linguistics from Simon Fraser University. She is currently translating projects for the Children of the Taku Society.
Tune in next week for another Tlingit Word of the Week from KTOO.
Hanson Gress. Ka eat with the shuyi we kashuk ayitin. Jin kat ka kei jin tak anakaya haanikak gunilchish.
Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Tongass Federal Credit Union, a member-owned financial cooperative offering checking and savings accounts, loans, and digital financial services. In Juneau at 8585 Old Dairy Road in the K Plaza and at tongassfcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. You are listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO at 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Auk Bay, and online at ktoo.org. I'm Boston Christopher. This Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. out at Eagle Beach Picnic Shelter, the Southeast Alaska Conservation Council and the Southeast Alaska Land Trust are hosting the Herbert River Rollick. There's guided activities including a bike ride, a nature walk, and nature journaling, or you can hang out for a bonfire, food, and more. And here to share more about this awesome event that's happening this Saturday, I have Margaret Custer from the Southeast Alaska Land Trust. Ganachish Wasiti. How are you today, Margaret?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Boston.
Excellent. And then I also have Stacey Unziker from the Southeast Alaska Conservation Council. Ganachish.
Thanks for having us.
Ooh. Is that your microphone that's being a little weird? Yeah, we had some upgrades and some of the tech stuff. Maybe can you hop on this other mic over there, Stacey? Thanks.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. And we'll just turn that microphone off and we won't use it today.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's first get, we just had on some folks from the Southeast Alaska Land Trust because you hosted a walk and talk out there on the wetlands at Montana Creek, right outside of there somewhere.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. So that was a good turnout for that. But now you're partnering up with the Conservation Council for the Herbert River Rollick. But just remind the folks about the Southeast Alaska Land Trust and what you all do.
Sure. Yeah, the Southeast Alaska Land Trust conserves private land for public benefit, where we have conservation lands in a bunch of different communities in Southeast, in Juneau, Haines, Sitka, Cake, Excursion Inlet, Admiralty Island, and Petersburg. And the walk last week was a partnership with Discovery Southeast.
Right.
And that featured our Montana Creek wetlands parcel, which is kind of between the Mendenhall River and Montana Creek. So it's a nice site to visit, especially since it's everywhere else in the valley is pretty developed.
Right. Yeah. And they were saying like it's on the other side of all the barriers, the ESCO barrier. So it's kind of interesting to see what that would have been about. And like the idea they were going to talk about the different ways that the flooding impacts and all that kind of stuff, which is really kind of cool. So in this partnership with the Conservation Council for the Herbert River Rollick, how did this come about? You like to do partnerships, which I think is cool.
We do. Yeah. We love doing education out on the land with local organizations. Like we love doing bird walks with Juneau Audubon Society. Those are top events. And this one came about because we have about 240 acres under our either ownership or stewardship in the Herbert River watershed. And SEAC is also interested in this area for a few different reasons. And we are just excited to get people out on the land and recreating.
I love that. And the idea behind the Southeast Alaska Land Trust is to sort of keep that land as pure as possible. Would that be the sort of the goal?
Yeah, I mean, we conserve different parcels for different reasons.
Yeah.
Depending on whether they are required to be set aside for conservation or if it's a voluntary conservation project. But generally speaking, we're trying to protect and preserve places that already have really intact habitat, intact waters, intact lands,
right.
Providing great homes for all the salmon and wildlife.
The birds and all those good things. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then, Stacy, tell me a little bit about the Southeast Alaska Conservation Council. What is it that you all do?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit, and we've been operating since 1970. And so we've had lots of different iterations throughout the decades. But our main work that has united all the way through all of that time, regardless of campaigns that might come and go, is protecting the lands and waters of the Tongass. Not just here in Juneau, but throughout all of Southeast. We have a lot of different partnerships with communities and other organizations, and we work really hard in lots of different capacities. Sometimes it's public education and having fun events, and sometimes we get into litigating things and more politically active mechanisms.
Sure, absolutely. And then this, whose idea was the Herbert River Rollick?
I asked Margaret to come on a date out the road. We've actually been working on some campaign work for the last year or so, and it kind of centers all around this area out the road. So,
I see.
Yeah, so we thought we would co-host.
I see. Okay, so tell me a little bit about this Rollick on Saturday, July 18th. It's from 1 to 6 p.m. Where should people go? Do they have to sign up? What's going to happen? Let's start with where do people go?
Yeah, people should come to Eagle Beach, to the recreation side, so like on the actual beach side, not the campground. And that big brown shelter that's at the very end out at Eagle Beach, that's the shelter that we've rented. So everybody should show up there having had their own hearty lunch. Show up at 1 p.m. and we'll make sure that everybody's waivers get signed and that people get to choose which activity they want to go into. So we're going to be having a hike with Richard Karstensen. Riley Mosier is going to be leading a bike out to the Herbert Glacier. And then Stephanie Harold, who lives in Hoonah and teaches nature journaling, she's coming in just for this event for us.
Oh, wow.
And so she'll be teaching people some different nature journaling techniques, and you don't have to know how to draw in order to be there. You don't have to like to draw, but if that's something that you want to see what nature journaling is about and how it's another tool for observing the lands around you.
Is nature journaling, is it mostly draw? Is it the idea of drawing? Can you write? I guess you can do poetry.
You can do, you can do
whatever you
lots
want,
of,
right?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So some people use it, literally biologists use it in order to keep track of what they're observing in nature. And so you might have scatter plots of different species that you're encountering. You might be taking measurements, but it doesn't have to be that technical. It could just be drawing the flowers that you're seeing. And again, she's a really amazing community nature journaling teacher. Her work is stunning if you look her up online. And I encourage everybody, whether you have art supplies or not. If you have them, bring them. We've got some too. So it's low barrier to entry, and anybody can come and participate, any age, any ability. We wanted to make this an event for literally everybody, something for everyone can come and enjoy it.
And what was her name again?
That's Stephanie Harold.
Stephanie Harold, if you want to look her up, because it sounds really cool. I would think of it as like an awesome way to finish. You go on a walk in nature. Sometimes it's meditative. You just sort of are out there on the land. You're just sort of taking it all in. But then like journaling, sitting down, maybe taking a moment. You can even do it while you're walking, I guess, too, right? But like the idea of just sort of, it's another way to communicate with the land.
Yeah, and it poises you in this observational place where you are listening. Some people draw the things that they're hearing in really creative ways. It engages all of your senses, and so it's a way to fall in love with the land, and it can be really meditative.
So are the activities sort of at the beginning of that time period?
Yeah, so if everybody shows up at the shelter at 1, then we get slotted, and then they've got from like 1:30 till about 4 to be out rollicking on the land.
The rollick part of
There's
the
the
Herbert
rollick.
River rollick.
And then we'll all come back to that same shelter.
What does
at
rollick
4
mean?
p.m.
What's the definition
It means
of rollick?
to move and amble throughout the land with joy.
Oh,
It can,
okay.
it can. It's what it's going to
It's
be
a
out
great.
there.
It's a great word.
It
It's a
is.
great
We're going to
word.
make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rollick, we're going to make that happen.
Yeah,
the
make
whole
it,
word.
Make it happen. So you show up out there to the picnic shelter, get yourself situated, and I do know that there's a link on the SEAC website, right? To sort of
on our
pre-register.
website. Yeah, and there's a QR code. There's also a Bitly link, and more than our website for this, we've been driving a lot on our socials. So SEAC's Facebook page and Instagram pages have multiple posts about this at this point.
Right.
And
awesome.
and every single one has the link so that you can go sign up. And we really do encourage signups, because then that way you can sign the waiver. You can tell us if you plan to bike, hike, or nature journal, and that way we can kind of know how many people are planning to go to what activities, so that we can be well organized to serve everybody. And then afterwards, after the activity, about 3 hours out on the land, we'll all come back, have veggie burgers, hot dogs, hamburgers, some other food. Harbor Mountain is throwing in some nice lemonade for us. And then we'll have a discussion about some impacts to the area with some development out there. And then we've got door prizes too. So Devil's Club Brewing has thrown in some merch. Second Wind Sports has gift certificates. And Patagonia even gave us some door prize material.
Door prize stuff.
But you have to be present to win.
So, Margaret, what part of the area out there is part of the land trust? Is it the area that you are all going to be recreating on, or is it somewhere like the going over to the Herbert Glacier? Which part of that is your in your trust, I guess?
Yeah, so the Eagle Beach Picnic Shelter is on the state land immediately adjacent to land trust property. So, and oftentimes land trust conservation parcels are adjacent to other public lands, kind of connective tissue parcels to make sure that we're not losing key habitat to a standalone development or something like that. So the Herbert River Wetlands parcel is immediately adjacent to that. And pretty much anybody who's lived in Juneau for a while has been on that, whether they knew it or not, because the beginning of the Windfall Lake Trail is on that parcel, as well as the beginning of the Boy Scout Beach Trail. So those are two much beloved recreation areas for Juneauites. We also own a parcel just a little bit south of that called the Very Berry Wetlands. You heard that right.
Say it again?
The Very Berry Wetlands. The first bear is for bears, and then the second berry is for berries, because it has some delicious berries on that site, including nagoons.
Oh, wow.
And then we have a couple of other parcels in that watershed. So total of 240 acres.
I see. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And you don't put up there's not signs at the edge that says, "Oh, this is this is the trust land" or anything like that. But people can find out more about the parcels on your website, right? Like if you want to know where all these trust lands are, you can learn. You have like a list of them.
Yeah, we have a story map on our website. So you can go to southeastalaskalandtrust.org, and you can there's a link for lands we steward, and that's a story map that you can zoom in and out on the map of each parcel and see where they're located. We try not to have really obnoxious signage. We do have some interpretive signs, which are nice in certain locations, but for the most part, they're pretty discreet, just to indicate that it's a conservation area.
Okay.
So if you've been on the Boy Scout Beach Trail, you may have seen a couple of pretty, they're like the size of a piece of paper, pretty small signs.
I see. And if people want to get involved in any way with the land trust, is there volunteer opportunities, or is there other things that I could do with the land trust if I was interested in partaking, even if I can't give some land to you?
Oh my gosh. I promised the listeners I did not plant that question.
I'm just genuinely curious.
Yes, we would love volunteers to contact us. Our email address is info@sealt.org. Reach out anytime or call our office, and we'll be glad to get you set up with some volunteer events. We're also always recruiting land stewards. Land stewards have the opportunity to kind of adopt a property. So they visit it regularly. They let us know if they see any changes, including natural changes that are just like noteworthy. And so if you want to be signed up as a land steward, please reach out as well.
Land steward sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And Stacy, tell me a little bit about if I wanted to get involved with the Conservation Council, do you also have like volunteer opportunities or other things I might be able to do with the Conservation Council?
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate all of our community volunteers because they help us with events like this. Like Richard and Riley and Stephanie are all helping and pitching in for this one with us. So going to our website, which is just seac.org, SEACC.org, is a good place to sign up for like our newsletter and kind of read about the things that we do. And then of course in our like CRM, if you want to specifically be on our volunteer list, that's something that you can send us an email about and we can keep track of who wants to volunteer.
And if you want to find out more, you can go on Saturday and just talk to people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. A glass of lemonade in your hand.
That's a glass of lemonade.
Solo cup, because, no glass at the beach.
Right, for sure. And recycle, right?
Please.
Of course, always recycle that. That's so cool. It's the Herbert River Rollick. It's this Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. out at the Eagle Beach Picnic Shelter. At least that's where you'll start. You're going to get to do a bike ride or a walk or a nature journaling, one of those activities. And then you'll get to have some food and some good conversation out there this Saturday, July 18th.
And
wow.
It's free.
Free.
Everything free.
And you can go on the Southeast Alaska Conservation Council. Just put that in your favorite search engine or find them on Facebook. There's links everywhere if you want to pre-sign up, but you don't necessarily have to, right?
Yeah.
We do have some loaner bikes. So if someone doesn't have a bike but they want to participate in the mountain biking activity, they can definitely sign up for that. They just advanced registration is very encouraged for that because we only have a few loaners.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Stacy, Margaret, thank you so much for joining us today on Juneau Afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Goodness cheesh.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's listen to a little bit of Taylor Dallas Viddick's Cat and Mouse.
I love her.
Yeah.
This is BirdNote. Redwood forests attract millions of visitors every year. Unfortunately, the food left behind by people brings trouble for wildlife. Marbled murrelets are secretive little birds that spend most of their lives at sea, but they breed in the redwoods. Thick, moss-covered branches are like ready-made nests for the murrelet's single egg. After hatching, the chick's speckled down keeps her camouflaged in the canopy, while both parents fetch fish to feed her. Much of the marbled murrelet's historic range has been destroyed by logging and wildfires. And while North America's remaining redwood forests are protected public lands, predators are moving in. Steller's jays and common ravens are just two opportunists that thrive on our food scraps. And once they've eaten our leftover trail mix, their next meal may be a murrelet egg or chick. The Keep It Crumb Clean campaign is a state park initiative that's educating people about the importance of leaving no food unattended. That means storing food in secure containers, disposing of waste in animal-proof bins, and cleaning up all food, even crumbs. BirdNote has inspired millions of people to take action for birds. Learn more and join us at birdnote.org. I'm Ariana Rimmel.
He speaks slow, knows where each word's bound to go. He walks in a steady line, moves the way he's moved 100 times before, simply practice before he knew that he'd be mine. Whisper me words that I don't know I need to hear. No, I don't need them, but I want them. Show me the signs that I don't know I need to see. No, I don't need them, but I want them. If this is a game of cat and mouse, I'll play the prey every time. Lay your words on my ears, baby. Put your hands in mine, and I'll sing softly, I'll sing slowly. My body wrapped in yours, my mind tangled in the telephone lines. And whisper me words that I don't know I need to hear. No, I don't need them, but I want them. Show me the signs that I don't know I need to see. No, I don't need.
Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Emil Mackey at Country Financial, offering insurance for home, auto, and business, and life insurance to protect your family in case of death. Located in the Juneau Nugget Mall. More information can be found online or by calling 907-500-7017. This is Juneau Afternoon from your listener-supported public media station, KTOO. I'm your host. And this Saturday from 11 to 4 p.m., it's the Southeast Alaska Master Gardeners Association Master Gardeners Tour. And this year's gardens are located in the areas of the Valley, Auk Bay, and out the road, as we like to say. And here to tell us more is Master Gardener Ed Byarski. Ed, how are you today?
It's beautiful. It's sunny outside. I was weeding carrots and killing slugs and planting primroses and dreaming of sweet corn.
Dreaming of sweet corn?
Well, heck yes.
What's that like?
Every year. Well, this year I've got it planted in my hoop house. And It looks pretty good. Some of it has tassels showing. It was knee-high by the 4th of July. So there's hope if the weather cooperates and all the rest of that. That's what we hope for.
Now, I want to ask you this. We'll get to the garden tour in a second, but I do want to, I know we were talking just before we went on air that it's sort of like it's starting to get to be the time to get everything out, or soon to be that way. But I'm curious, was this year's crop of stuff, just in general, was it affected by that crazy winter that we had?
Somewhat that. Broken trees, broken branches, fruit trees, among other things. Apples is more affected, I think, by the lateness of and coolness of the springtime. which, I mean, the last snow in my yard left, I think, May 15th.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So things are still behind. We're harvesting garlic scapes now, about 2 weeks late. So the garlic harvest looks good, looks beautiful, but it's later. Apple crop, cherry crop is going to be, assuming the weather cooperates, is going to be later. We're still a week to 2 weeks behind. And we'll see what happens. Certainly stuff is growing well. The weeds, the buttercups are thriving. Slugs are kind of off the charts. The winter did not slow down the slugs at all.
Yeah.
So it's a battle out there, as usual, I guess.
Yeah, as per
so
usual,
what we just need is more sunshine, and forecast for next week looks promising.
Was it the fact that that everything's a little bit later? Is it that the ground got so wet, or is that why? So it doesn't have time to dry? Explain.
Well,
that to me.
I mean, in other years, at least out where I live out the road, I would be seeing snowdrops and crocus in early April when there was this year still 2 feet of snow on the ground.
Right.
So that certainly slowed everything down and probably kept things cooler. And we shoveled snow away from the hoop house so that we could plant inside, and it's working. Like I said, the sweet corn is growing, but it's all been delayed, and this super El Nino that was supposed to bring us warmer, drier weather in the Northwest, we haven't seen it.
Interesting. Okay. So will it be anything that people would need to know preparing for next winter that give them a tip? Do we expect it to be, I don't know, you're not a meteorologist, but if it happens again, is there something I should do in the fall?
Certainly I guess be prepared I'm not going to forecast.
Yeah,
better than that. But certainly propping up branches, trees, perhaps some more wrapping for protection of shrubs and trees. Propping up your greenhouse inside. Mine collapsed again.
Oh, wow. With just the snow.
We couldn't keep up with the snow in December.
Yeah.
I mean, every day getting a foot to 2 feet of snow was
fun.
I mean, we're shoveling, scraping, trying to pull it off, and finally down it came. So I didn't have my props underneath the peak of the greenhouse and hoop house. They did come down. We rebuilt them as quickly as we could. So now we've got cucumbers and tomatoes starting to flower at least. But do some extra preparation. And who knows, this year, instead of 210 inches, we may only get 75.
Knock on wood.
I'm not going to predict.
We have no idea.
Indeed.
Okay, so let's get to Saturday. This is an awesome event that happens every year. It's the garden tour. People open up their homes, they open up their gardens, and people can buy a ticket and sort of gather around and at your own pace for a few hours during 11 to 4 p.m. There's a QR code if you're watching the stream. I'll also put the link on the webpage for today's episode. But you can also go to the website for just put in your favorite search engine, Southeast Alaska Master Gardeners Association, and you'll find them. You're also on probably social medias and all that.
Yes. There's a Facebook page, among other things. So the basics are for folks to get out and see what other gardeners are doing. You may see gardens in all stages, from early beginning gardeners and partway along the way, and established places that have been gardened for 20 or 30 years. Mm-hmm. So it's a case of feel free to steal ideas, ask questions about, what variety of maple is that? Or how long have you had that growing? Or how about those apple trees over there? What is the variety there that if you've had good luck with them? Or if you see fences and techniques, all sorts of techniques, of course, for covering and trying to warm the soil, and how to make compost. There's different kinds of composting efforts. So really it's educational, it's entertaining. You'll see friends that you maybe haven't seen for a while, or you'll see gardens that will knock your socks off.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great place it seems like the gardeners are very connected here in Juneau. whether you're a member of the Masters Gardeners Association or not. But it feels like one of the things that happens is people give each other tips, right? Because like, what was successful for you this year? What wasn't? Why? Talking
Yes.
about all those things with people is really a great thing to do. And seeing their efforts, how it turns out is kind of cool too.
It is. And again, because we do this different areas of town, and whether that be near the glacier versus downtown some other year, and just the different microclimates, even in this garden tour, valleying out the road, there's a big difference, sometimes weeks of difference in when certain things sprout, flower, grow. We can grow certain things in my yard that they can't grow back near the glacier, and it's different downtown. So you talk about zones, even where we're going to see gardens out there on Lena.
Yeah.
From the south side of Lena versus the north side of Lena. You get southerly winds, warmer, wetter, or you get the northerly winds, which are colder and drier.
Right.
So again, it makes a big difference how to grow in those different conditions and what you can grow and what you can't grow.
Absolutely. And how many gardens are on tap for this year? Do we know?
I know that was still up for discussion this morning that I saw. There's one or two that may be added, but 6 to 8 gardens, roughly. So you can kind of spread out your time. I certainly recommend carpooling, just because parking can be an issue. But it's good to get together with a few other folks that you might be able to share and look at. Oh, you should be growing this in your garden after we just saw that.
Yeah.
So that's really a plus to get out to see these different gardens and different stuff.
Yeah, grab a friend and make it happen. So there's a couple things that people should know. There's no these are all available on the website as well. You can go to SEAC-mastergardeners.org and you can see all about the garden tour. And they have basically a list of guidelines that you want to follow in terms of no getting there too early. Don't be early. Don't show up at 10:40 or 10:30. People are still getting ready. It's like when you have a garage sale and people show up at 7:30 when you said 8, right? You're still putting the stuff out.
Right. And again, the specifics about which gardens and locations will come out Friday evening, so that, as you mentioned, show up to the first one, wherever that's, whichever, the farthest one or the nearest one to you.
Sure.
At 11 o'clock, and work your way around, or maybe start at noon or 1 o'clock, whatever works for you. Or maybe you'll see that, I've seen those couple of gardens already in the past. You know, some of them have been on past garden tours too. But yes, leave the dogs at home unless it's a service dog. Kids are welcome as long as they're on a leash and otherwise under control.
Right.
So, hey, the kids can learn stuff from this too, and hopefully you'll learn how to grow some food, grow some flowers, and other interesting stuff.
And there'll be some docents who will be wearing some bright pink vests, and there'll be garden tour signs. Yeah, that's what it says here.
Okay. Well, I haven't gotten my vest yet, but I'll be a docent at one of the gardens.
Okay.
But, didn't know I had to have a pink vest.
Yeah, bright pink vest, Dad. You gotta wear. That's what it says right here. And you'll have, like you said, be careful of where you park. Those are good things. Bathrooms, don't ask the homeowner to use their bathroom. That's not for public use, so use that before you get started. And just have a really good time. And you don't have to do them in any particular order. You can start at 2 o'clock. You can start at 11, whichever way you want. But you got to get a ticket, and you can do that at the SEAC-mastergardeners.org website. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And also, there are people can pay. At least, I believe there's 1 or 2 locations where folks can actually show up and buy tickets.
Oh, you can buy them
the day of.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So and that'll be the links and everything. The PDF with all the places will be up on the website Friday night.
Correct.
Okay, and that's where people can find out where they can sign up and go about doing their business that way on Saturday if they want to just pay at the first location or whatnot. That's kind of cool. So what's coming up for you in the rest of the summer? What's happening for the rest of the summer?
Well, I'm still planting, and we're harvesting, and harvesting will go on until the snow gets too deep, basically. I'll be planting until the snow comes. The garlic. we'll be taking garlic out of the ground here in the next month or so, and we'll be putting the garlic back in the ground in September, October, or later. So looking forward to whatever we get. If tomatoes, cucumbers, hopefully from the greenhouse, sweet corn if all the stars line up correctly. Zucchinis are flowering right now, so we're going to have zucchinis here in another week.
That means some good zucchini bread coming up.
Among other things, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
right.
That's
It's
awesome.
looking promising, even though it is a little late. So it's gardeners most of them are up for the challenge, and we're already talking about next year.
Awesome. I love it. Ed Boyarsky from the Master Gardeners Association. Go to seac-mastergardeners.org and find yourself a way to get on this garden tour on a Saturday. Really appreciate you coming in today, Ed. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna cheese.
Once upon a midnight sun, I begged it all away. I fell to my knees and I closed my eyes to pray, and I said, oh, it's alright. Oh, let it go. Magic came and went away and tore this place in two. I came running from the north to fill the space by you, and I said, ooh, let it in. Ooh, let it in. And maybe it's true, I'm just a little lost, but I'd be nowhere without it all. Oh, time and again I get lost in the wind.
Little Dara Relatos with Midnight Sun, live from the Red Carpet stage here in Studio 2K. Appreciate her doing that song. And this week's Tonga's Voices, perspectives from the homelands of the Aquan and beyond. Keklaish Lyle James has been learning and teaching the Tlingit language for more than 2 decades. His passion grew through attending classes and leading songs. He lives in Juneau and has taught more than 1,000 students, emphasizing the importance of making mistakes and maintaining a non-judgmental environment. He encourages others to try learning the language, regardless of their initial fears.
It's exciting for me to see my students outside of classrooms. It makes me happy when I see them out in the community and they say, hey, Ketlaish, or wasi yati, wasi tuati. So just asking me general questions. Ayechat was all klingik enachi Ketlaish. Kakwantanachatsati, Kutachayechat kuknu kwandak. My name is Ketlaish. I am Kakwantan, Eagle Wolf from Kuna, and I come from the Mud Bay area, clan-wise. I was born in Sitka, and I was raised in Huna and in Cake. Growing up in Huna, I went to Huna schools. Got to hear and learn from a lot of the elders in that community, like, for instance, Jenny Lindoff, and even my great-grandmother, Elsie Pratt, and they spoke only Tlingit to me. I grew up around language, but I didn't start learning Tlingit until I was 23 years old, learning how to speak it myself. I attended a ku'ik here in Juneau, and the family that was hosting the ku'ik knew I was learning how to lead the songs, so they called me up and to lead some of the songs for them. And after that, I actually met my wife at the time, and she took me to one of her language classes with Florence Mark Shakely. That was my hook, was attending the class and seeing how much fun they were having with the language. At my GED graduation, and the principal of Yakusuke Takehedi was at my graduation, and I introduced myself in the language, what I knew from attending Florence's class. And right afterward, she asked me, "Are you looking for a job?" She asked me if I would be interested in teaching Tlingit language. And I told her straight up, I don't speak it fluently. I am a student in the language. And she said, "You're perfect. You are going to make our students feel comfortable learning the language with you." And that's what encouraged me to do language full time. I try to figure out what the students are interested in. And if I find something that aligns with what the students enjoy, then I try to incorporate it in the language as much as possible. If the students are not afraid of playing a game in the language, then they are learning at the same time without the fear of making the mistakes. And I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure the students are not judged when they make their mistakes, because shoot, I make mistakes all the time. I want my students to come back and take over my classes and make it bigger and better than what I've left behind. Have courage. Go out there and try it. Whether it be in Tlingit, whether it be in Chadkil, Haida language, Tmagich, the Tsimshian language. Go out there and enjoy it. Don't be afraid to make the mistakes and have fun with the language. It's in you. It's always been in you. Yeah. Goodness, sheesh.
You're listening to Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K at KTOO, dedicated to Carolyn Hobbs Peterson. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. And that was this week's Tongass Voices. That was Kikliish Lyle James speaking about his journey in learning and teaching the Tlingit language. And it was created by KTOO News intern Elan Chappell. He comes to KTOO as part of Sealaska Heritage Institute's STEAM Summer Internship program, and he joins me now in studio. Gunath Cheesh, Igudi, thank you so much, Elan, for being here. Wasit, how are you today?
Good, Gunath Cheesh. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's where I want to start, right? So like you got involved with the internship, the STEAM internship. Tell me how you got started in doing that.
So my mom used to work at
It's always
SHI.
the moms, isn't it?
Yeah, right?
It's always the moms.
Right? So she
Shout out moms.
told me about the STEAM internship program. And she was like, "Hey, you should do this. You're looking for a job this summer. You need a job. Make some money." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sounds good. Sign me up." And so it just went from there. And SHI contacted my mom, gave me some options. I filled out a form that they gave me of what I'm interested in for my future.
Okay.
And KTOO seemed really interesting at the time, and
Yeah.
it still is right now while I'm working through it, with all the technology coming through. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And in school, I need to get better at writing.
Okay.
And that's where the journalism part comes in to me. And it's just helping me write and communicate between people.
So it was interesting because you got the journalism side for the writing and then also the tech side, because I heard that when you came in, you had really no audio or video editing experience. You hadn't really worked with audio before, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've been here for how long? When did you start?
I think I started around... Actually, I'm not too sure when I started.
It's been full, right? It's been a full few. It's been like a few weeks, right? At least a month or more, right?
I think 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay, so it was like a 6 or 7 week internship because you're going to be with us for a couple more weeks.
I know I missed 1 week.
Yeah.
I had to head out, but for like a camp.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, what was the first day like when you showed up here and you met our KTOO news team? Obviously, you met everybody in the building, but what was it like sitting in that newsroom on that first day?
Well, when I first came in, I knew one person on the news team.
Who was that?
That was Clarice.
Okay.
Clarice. I knew of Clarice, talked to Clarice before. And that's kind of what made it more comfortable, you know, because she knew me, I knew her, and she introduced me to everyone else. And I think that's what really helped. You know? Yeah.
And what were you expecting when you got this internship and you thought, okay, I'm going to learn a little bit of the journalism. I might do some audio and stuff. Was that what you were expecting, or did you have any idea what you would be doing when you got involved?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I looked into the audio stuff. Like, of course, you have a recorder, then a mic. But I wasn't expecting, like, this whole studio that we're in right now. This is cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And you had done no radio or nothing before that?
I helped write a radio play.
The radio plays that KTOO produces with Theater Alaska. Okay.
Yes.
So you did one of those.
I did one of those.
Okay.
But I didn't know how the whole production thing worked for that.
Right, and that was a whole class, right? That was like a classroom full of people. Okay, that's really awesome. So then you got here and you started working in the team. You were sort of shadowing people, right? You were sort of watching what they do. And then what was like the first thing that you started working on? What was the first thing they gave you to do?
They had me interview and get to know all the people in the building.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I started, they gave me gear, like a recorder. Yeah.
Awesome.
Some headphones, a microphone. They showed me all that tech. And they told me to come up with a set of questions to ask people just to get to know them.
Okay. What kind of questions did you come up with?
I had, what's your name? Could you spell it out? So you like, if you write it out, that's for the journalist side, right?
Right.
Because you don't want to spell nobody's name wrong.
Sure. Yeah.
And those other questions were like, how do you start at KTOO?
Okay.
And what gave them the interest of being at KTOO? How long have they been at KTOO? And the last question was a fun question. It was like, what's your favorite food?
What's your favorite food? I don't know if you didn't interview me though. I don't think.
I don't think you were there.
I was probably on vacation.
I think you were. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't get to. It was the first day. Yeah.
Favorite food's a tough one, man.
Right.
Favorite food. What's your favorite food?
Mine's more like a snack. It's popcorn.
Popcorn. Okay. And mine is. I'm probably a snack. Like if it's that thing of like if you get stranded on an island, what food would you be able to eat all the time?
Yeah.
I would. My first go-to is usually peanuts. But I also love anything made with a potato. So, you know, I don't know, survival potatoes, that seems like possible, but I don't know. Yeah,
I see what you mean. Because potatoes got that protein.
You gotta have
plus
the
that
carbs.
starch,
You know?
you gotta have carbs.
Gotta have the carbs.
Yeah.
Do you do stuff with your popcorn? Do you put things on it like butter or flavorings or anything?
You know, I used to experiment. I used to make my own popcorn, and I liked putting Old Bay.
Old Bay
seasoning spice.
Oh,
yeah, that
man.
was good. Had a little bit of spice, a little smoky.
Yeah, I put that on my chicken wings. I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
That is some good stuff. Okay, well, that's good. And then, so you did that with the interviewing folks in the building. And then what was the next thing that came up for you?
The next thing was they pitched me to write a story idea.
Okay.
And they were like, hey, this is going to be your first time interview. You already interviewed people for the first day, but now I want you to go outside, and they call it Vox Pop.
Vox Pop? What is that?
It's a type of
a
writing.
BTS here.
Yeah, right? A little bit of that acronyms. Is that acronyms?
Yeah.
Vox Pop, you go out, and you just interview a stranger with some questions you come up with on a topic.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went out. The topic was, this was my first story. It was about the museum and the budget cuts.
Oh, wow.
So I had to come, I had come up with questions to answer the problems that were going on. So the question one of my favorite questions was, what is local history to you?
Mm.
And I had tourists and a local answer to that question, and it impacted the museum in a way because I always liked the museum. I had my art displayed there once, but the fact that it's closing due to budget cuts, sad.
Absolutely. Well, I want to play
Yeah.
that story because I have it queued up here. I want to definitely, you queued it up perfectly with that. And here's a picture of you for those of you who might be watching the stream. You can see Elan interviewing somebody here. Let's take a listen to this audio postcard about the Juneau City Museum goers share why local history matters as it faces staff budget cuts.
I'm Anne Clark and I'm from England. I chose to visit the museum because you want to learn about the place that you've just visited. So instead of just coming off and doing the standard stuff, I wanted to see what Juneau was about. Learning about local history just helps you understand the people that live here, the environment, everything about it. So the reason that people stay, what's here now, what's the economy like here now, everything. I learned about the mining. I learned the history of how far it goes back and how it's changed.
My name is Fred Treem, and I live over on 4th Street, a short distance away. I visit frequently because they have interesting art displays and special events, but also I use it quite frequently as a resource for getting historic information and historic photographs and old documents. The museum has a special place or use for me because it's a repository for Telephone Hill and the ancient switchboard that was used in the Webster House. So I love the museum. Learning about local history is important because it educates us about the things that we need to respect and the things we need to protect. I've learned about topics of special events that the museum has on its first Fridays, and often they're collections of art. So I use the museum to see special collections that are put in there periodically.
My name is Hein Skoustra. I am from the Netherlands, living in Panama at the moment. I chose to visit this museum because I am interested in history. I am not going to think that I'm going to remember all the details, but it's just good to see that. And I think history is important for all of us to remember what we have done and what we can do and how we can keep things the way we want them to keep. So that's about it.
I'm Diane Bales. I am from Bloomfield, Iowa, which is down on the Iowa-Missouri border. I want to learn about the history of the town, and it's important to me. I went to the state capitol. I'm taking the tour this afternoon. We come to the museum so we can learn not just the tourist things that draw the tourists, but the real history and the real people of Juneau. It tells us their story.
That was Elan Chappell's story, talking to museum goers about the impacts of the recent budget cuts. So that was an interesting story, right? Like, because you were interviewing, they call that a postcard because you're not talking as the reporter in there. You're just having the voices talk, right? Which is kind of cool. Same way as Tonga's Voices works as well. So when you were capturing all that audio, then what did you do with it? Like, how did you have to listen through it all? Do you mark certain passages? Did you get coaching on that? How did you put it all together?
So I was taught this audio called Adobe Audition.
Okay.
And you had to get that audio from the recorder, and there's an SD card, and you plug it into like a transfer thing to your computer, and you transfer the file over, and you chop it up in a way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the word. You chop it up. You cut it up. You get the pieces you want, then you write a script of the idea that you have, that you already came up with the questions.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I got the most interesting part and the idea part, and boom, combined it.
I love it. It sounds amazing. It sounded really good.
It was cool.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it just made me, gave me a perspective of different people's, perspectives.
Yeah.
Like stepped in their own shoes or their shoes to see what they were experiencing. Because born and raised in Juneau, you don't know what tourists go through, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple more weeks of the internship, and I know you're working on. Tease us a little bit about the next big thing that you're working on here.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I have to present what I've all done in KTOO in this internship for SHI.
Okay.
And that's my next big thing. I'm going to have a meeting tomorrow, and I'm going to be sharing to family and other internship places about what I've done at KTOO.
All right, and does that include like maybe something like what's the coolest thing you've learned while you've been here?
Ooh, that's tough. The coolest thing I've learned was how to use a camera.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, I never really got into photography, but I knew the concept, and I was given a camera, and I just didn't know how to use the thing. But I want to be an engineer in the future. I'm curious how all the concepts that go into a camera.
Okay.
So I got to learn how to manually focus, defocus, get background drop, color in there, rule of thirds in a photo.
Right on.
Yeah, to make a photo pop out to you. That was really cool.
That's awesome. And do you have any more stories that we can be looking out for here before your internship ends?
Oh, yeah. I'm coming up with a new story. I got this idea from a family member. I was on a trip, and it's different regions of adobo.
Oh, different regions.
Different regions, like different flavors. Each region has a different flavor. And adobo's a big thing in the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Here in Juneau. So I want to share the chef's perspective, the home cook's perspective, like family, and the people that sell adobo, like commercially, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, and when do we think that story is going to come out?
Hopefully at the end of this internship, which is August 7th.
Okay, so look for that story in August.
Hopefully in August, yeah.
Okay, and you said that your future, you're interested in maybe becoming an engineer. Is that kind of what you're going to look at studying in the future?
Yeah, I really want to become a mechanical engineer. What interested in me was working on my dad's truck.
Okay.
And how much things go into it, because you have audio, you have wires, electronics, fluids, how that goes through in a vehicle just to make it work.
I see. Okay. So last question for you before we run out of time here today is what do you think you've taken from this internship? This will help for your presentation tomorrow too. What have you learned in the internship that you'll be able to take forward with you going on?
I wasn't too good at communication. I think that's what this internship really helped me with. I couldn't quite keep a conversation or get a topic and share it out properly and explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of made me a little more talkative, but it had me learn how to word it in a way to make it understandable to the audience.
I love that. Elan Chappell, you can find his stories on KTOO.org. What a pleasure to have you here this summer. It's really awesome.
Boston.
So thanks so much for coming in and telling us a little bit about this internship from Sea Alaska Heritage Institute. Appreciate it. Good night. This is Juneau Afternoon. That will wrap it up for today's Juneau Afternoon. We air Wednesday through Friday at 3 p.m. right here on KTOO Juneau 104.3 and KAUK Juneau Auk Bay 91.7. Hello out the road. You can find the show online at KTOO.org/Juneau Afternoon. You can find live stream archives on KTOO's YouTube page. Our theme music is by Indian Agent. I'm Boston Christopher, producer and host of the program, with help today from Aaron Tripp. Good night. Have a fantastic Thursday.